What do you get when you combine Grand Theft Auto Vice City, the 2011 film Drive, and the surreal films of David Lynch? One hell of a great game, that's what. After playing more shit games than I care to think about, it's nice to play a terrific game for a change. So anyway, let's get into it. Hotline Miami for PC. Style-wise, Hotline Miami's graphics harken back to an earlier era of gaming, like that of the Super Nintendo and Genesis. Now, some detractors might complain that the graphics are dated, or that they look cheesy or even terrible. Then again, some people are morons who wouldn't know a good game if it came up and bit them in the ass. I feel that the graphics fit the mood and the setting of the game perfectly. Hotline Miami is set in an alternate 1989, and the visual design perfectly represents that bygone imaginary era with its neon glitz and grungy decadence. Every level has a unique layout as well as a sharp visual style. The game's visuals accurately reflect the zeitgeist of 1980s Miami, even if it isn't a one-for-one copy of that time in our universe. And although the cutscenes may look a bit crude to some people, I felt they did a good job capturing the surreal, off-kilter tone of the game's universe. The top-down perspective also serves to give the player a good view of the gaming environment. Moving on, the controls are simple, yet they work well for the game. You move the main character with the W, A, S, and D buttons on the keyboard. W moves up, A moves left, S moves down, and D moves right. You use the mouse to aim the targeting reticle. The left mouse button lets you use weapons, while the right one allows you to pick them up and throw them at enemies. Also, the scroll wheel allows you to lock onto enemies. The shift button allows you to see further ahead on the screen. The best aspects of these controls is that they are very easy to pick up, and they work very well even during frantic combat. In addition, you can change the controls to your liking via the main menu. Although I found that the game's original control scheme worked best for me. As for the gameplay, it's fairly simple. In most of the levels, you have to kill every fucking living thing that's in a place. That includes dogs as well as human beings. Now that may sound simple enough, but how you go about it is what truly makes the game shine. You start the game out as a character named Jacket. In each level, you're given a particular mission to accomplish. Usually it's through an answering machine, but later on it's by other means. When you start out a level, you are allowed a selection of masks. At first you only have one, a chicken mask. But as you progress, you get more masks, and these give you more abilities. For example, a certain mask allows you to find more secrets on a level, while another one makes it so that you can execute enemies more quickly. The game gives you a lot of options with these masks as you go further into it. Once you select a mask, the level starts and so does the carnage. And I'm not exaggerating when I say that this is one of the bloodiest, most violent games I've ever played. By the time you get through most of these levels, they end up looking like slaughterhouses. If you don't like violent games for whatever reason, do I even need to tell you not to play this one? Yeah, I didn't think so. Along with the mask, the game gives you a variety of different weapons to kill your enemies. Your bare hands, bats, knives, pistols, shotguns, assault rifles. What really makes the gameplay exciting and unique is that typically you can take on the enemies however you like. You can go in and attack them quickly, or you can lure them up to doors and kill them. Gunshots also alert enemies and you can mow them down as they come in. It's up to you how to attack each level. Another thing that makes the game exciting is the one-hit deaths. If almost anything hits you, you die instantly. Thankfully, the game's levels are divided into different floors and areas, so you don't have to play the whole thing over and over again. Yet another great part of Hotline Miami is the surprises it pulls on you. It's not often that a game can really surprise me anymore, but this one threw a few good curveballs my way. For example, in level Tension, there's a bomb room that you have to trigger with a shotgun blast to the door. Try to just walk in and you get blown up. This really caught me off guard the first time. In another level called Deadline, a van crashes out of nowhere into a building and you have to avoid it or else it kills Jacket instantly. This part stunned me so much it actually made me gasp and laugh out loud. Then as if that isn't enough, the driver hurls Molotov cocktails at you that can burn you alive. Another surprise is that some of these enemies, like these big black guys and these colonels, are really hard to kill. Unlike some of the lesser enemies, you can't kill them with your fists. And you have to shoot them or else they'll kill you with one punch or a taser shot. But sometimes they can kill you even after you've shot them. One of my few complaints with the game is that some of the enemies can be really stupid sometimes. For example, you can hang near doorways and kill guys with silent melee weapons or your fists. And nobody notices their corpses? I wish the enemy AI had been a little bit smarter, but it's not a deal breaker. And other times, though, the enemies are pretty damn smart. They can shoot you through glass windows, or they can chase you down into other rooms and kill you. So it's not like they're stupid all the time. Above all, in this game, you will die a lot. And I mean a lot. Sometimes the game can get frustrating, but it's the good kind of frustrating. The kind where I almost made it. I almost made it! It's challenging, but in a fair way. If you fuck up, chances are it's your own fault. This is one of those rare games where it's almost as fun to lose as it is to win. Also, you can learn from your mistakes and try different methods to win. Funny enough, the only level I didn't like in the game was the one where you don't commit any violence. Trauma is a level where Jacket gets shot and later wakes up from a coma. When he wakes up, he's in a hospital and he has to escape from the place. Now this part is a stealth level where you have to sneak past cops and doctors. Unlike the other levels, you can't kill anybody. Instead, you have to wait for the cops to raise their newspapers so you can slip past them, as well as stay out of the line of sight of the doctors. Though the change in gameplay was intriguing, I found this level frustrating because of constant failure. It's a very persnickety level. For example, you go into this one room, and BAM! A doctor sees you through the window! And yep, you guessed it, you have to go back to the last checkpoint. Ugh. And a bit later, I thought you had to go out of the room and to the right to get to this elevator. But if you do that, you'll fail. Instead, you have to go to this other room, get a key card, and go around the area. And it took me a lot of fuck-ups to figure that one out. Plus, if you don't time it right, those cops with the newspapers will catch you, and yep, you guessed it, you have to start again from the last checkpoint. Then there's a lower floor where you have to sneak past even more doctors. Worse still, sometimes Jacket will have these mental attacks and freeze up, which will leave you vulnerable. Honestly, I found this level to be a pain in the ass, and I wish it hadn't been in the game. Or at least I wish Jacket could have killed the cops and doctors. I mean, it's not like he abstained from violence during the rest of the game or anything like that. After you defeat the final bosses in the game, you get a false ending with Jacket. Then you switch to a new character named Biker. Which is really weird because earlier Jacket killed Biker. Then a few levels later, Biker kills Jacket. Okay. I must confess that I really didn't understand the game's storyline all too well, even after reading up on it on the internet. However, that really didn't bother me because the gameplay was so fantastic. I mean, sometimes I don't understand the entirety of some of my favorite books or the lyrics of some of my favorite songs. To segue onto the subject of music, one of the best parts of this game is its excellent soundtrack. And my favorite song is in the 8th level, Push It, which also happens to be my favorite level of the game. The song is Miami Disco by Perturbator. This tune is fucking awesome and it perfectly complements the action and carnage in the disco. Hell, the soundtrack is so great that I even listened to it outside of playing the game. Overall, Hotline Miami is one of the best games I've played in a good long while. There's almost nothing bad I can say about it. It does damn near everything right, and I give it my highest recommendation. So in conclusion, I'll keep this short and sweet. Play this game if you haven't already, because it truly deserves all the praise it's gotten. This is Film and Stuff, signing off. Thanks for watching. Okay.